Started as an idea. What if we made a Deadpool movie? There was only a few of us back then, and looking back, we had no idea how big it would become. So innocent, and yet the momentum that had started. Yeah, that was not really what we had in mind. Nope, that didn't help things. It was more of a hell no, to be honest. I mean, we eventually stopped asking. We have no idea how that happened, but I promise you, I'm looking into it. Well, once the movie got greenlit, I went on a massive coke bender. So 2016, that's a little hazy for me. They tell me the movie did well, though. 10 years into it, Phase 1 has exceeded our wildest expectations. You know, if you told me back then that one movie would spawn an expansive 2-movie universe, I'd have said that you were crazy. But here we are, with actual actors, a moderate special effects budget, and several low-level X-Men. None of the big ones, though. We gotta save something for Phase 2.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. There's a brand new Deadpool 3 first look at a couple of scenes they're filming with Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool and what's going on with Hugh Jackman's Wolverine in the yellow costume that he'll be wearing from the comics, as well as a couple other brand new cameos that we just learned about. So we'll break it all down.
Whoa! Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
So what we have here is...
If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. They'll be filming for a while, so we'll continue getting scenes. But it's just getting crazier and crazier the more we learn about it. The first new Deadpool 3 scenes that we got to look at are Deadpool Ryan Reynolds versus the TVA in the woods that look kind of like the Canadian wilderness, similar to the end of the Logan movie and a couple of the other Wolverine movies. There've been a couple times in the X-Men universe that we visited the Canadian wilderness where Logan's been living there during various points in his life. You notice Deadpool's suit is a little bit different from his Deadpool 2 suit, which is just meant to be his Deadpool 1 suit that he'd patched up over time. So that might be the explanation here with this version of the suit, is that in the time since Deadpool 1, it just continued to get busted. He slowly patched it up more and more, and that's why it looks a little bit different. But in the scene, he's running from a bunch of TVA agents that are coming out of that car trying to chase him down. Love the way that it looks like the most normal, most average car that you've ever seen in your entire life. Like nothing special, just some random car that the TVA agents are able to steal to chase him down. We also learned Wolverine's yellow suit that he's going to be wearing from the comics, or one of the Wolverines will be wearing, the main version, will be based on his yellow suit from the Astonishing X-Men run. The yellow suit from the Wolverine movie is something slightly different from the comics, but based on the comic book yellow suits. Most of it will be practical, like the Deadpool suit, but they'll use a little bit of special effects to try and tune it up the way that they do with the Deadpool suit. Like they use special effects to make his eyes emote. They did the same thing for Anthony Mackie's Captain America when he got his brand new Captain America suit in Falcon and Winter Soldier. The suit was practical, but they used special effects to just polish it a little bit. You have to imagine they'll use special effects to tune up his helmet just a little bit, just because the pieces are just so crazy. They haven't said what every single version of Deadpool and Wolverine are going to look like in the movie, but they'll all be radically different looking, like they won't be the exact same versions. And I believe they'll also have a joke kind of like the Ant-Man the Wasp Quantumania joke, where one of the versions of Ant-Man still worked at Baskin-Robbins. It was just a normal version of Scott Lang walked in with his uniform. It'd be like a normal version of Ryan Reynolds wearing a Wrexham soccer shirt. There are a couple other huge cameos that they just confirmed, and one of them, big surprise, I wasn't expecting this, was Jennifer Garner coming back as her Elektra from the Ben Affleck Daredevil movies. But it makes sense, if Ben Affleck's Daredevil is coming back in a big way, why wouldn't she also come back too, if she's from that universe?
You're holding back.
Yes.
Stop.
Now, it's not clear if her cameo scene will be during the Ben Affleck Daredevil cameo scene. I did a whole video on his Daredevil coming back. That's going to be nuts. We've gotten to the point in Ben Affleck's career where he's kind of past superhero movies, but he's happy to come back and do one-off cameo scenes. His Elektra might show up in a completely different scene because Deadpool is jumping through a bunch of different universes with Cable's time travel device, but because they're from the same universe, it makes sense that Daredevil and Ben Affleck's Elektra would show up in the same scene. The crazy thing in real life is that they also got married around that period when those movies were coming out and have since been divorced for a while now. I'm sure they'd be open to joking about their history in real life together, but I'm not sure that their characters will take it that far. Like, I don't know how big their cameo scene will be. A lot of people will also remember the Jennifer Garner Elektra movie that they did after the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie.
Her name's Elektra.
Like the tragedy. Her parents must have had a sense of humor.
Not really.
It is a treat if you haven't seen it. It's a bit of a slog to make it through. It was not a great movie. But I think when the movie gets ready to come out, there'll be like this rite of passage amongst the fandom. Like you have to go back and you have to rewatch all the movies that they're going to reference during this, which include all the old Fox X-Men movies, even the bad ones. Usually when we talk about Marvel movies, everybody wants to know what the best Marvel movies are, but when a lot of these movies come back to be referenced, we'll have to make lists about what the worst Marvel movies are, because there are so many of them now. Like, of all the bad Marvel movies, which ones are the actual worst? But when you talk about bad Marvel movies, bad Marvel series, there's terrible, like things that are so bad that they're fun to watch, and things that are just plain bad that are not fun to watch. We learned a little bit more about Emma Corrin's villain character. Supposedly she's not playing the main villain like a lot of the Hollywood trades reported before. Supposedly she's playing one of the TVA judges, kind of like Renslayer was at the beginning of season 1, before she had the big turn at the end of the season. So Emma Corrin's judge character is still an antagonist to Deadpool and Wolverine, but she's not the main villain. Supposedly the main villain will be a familiar face, because we're talking about a lot of X-Men coming back from the X-Men movies, Fantastic Four characters coming back. It makes a little more sense that they would have the main villain be somebody that everyone's familiar with from those movies. There's also a report that one of the universes that Deadpool jumps through is the 838 universe from the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness movie, so they'll pay off some of the things that happened after the events of that movie. Supposedly, the story of that universe just continues from the end of the movie, and the surviving members of the Illuminati still want revenge against 616 main MCU Scarlet Witch for killing most of their team, and the surviving members are supposed to at least be Mordo and the superior Iron Man that they cut from the story. But here's the thing with the familiar face that might wind up being the main villain of the movie. If the movie goes to a universe that's meant to be based on the House of M from the comics, a lot of the people reporting all these cameo scenes that they've since confirmed are also saying that quote-unquote mommy is coming back, and I think the mommy they're referencing is Elizabeth Olsen, just because of all the real-life memes.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Olsen. Some of you may know me as Mom.
Oh gosh, I just want to figure out the whole mutant thing. Like, that's really, and I don't, like, none of us can do anything about it, you know? Like, we can't do anything about it. We're not X-Men. But gosh, like, I just would love to explore that so much. I think X-Men was definitely my first experience with superhero type film.
So what might be happening is they're bringing back a version of Scarlet Witch, and she'll have created the House of M reality in this alternate universe. And either she winds up being the main villain, which might be redundant because she was the villain in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, or if we're talking about a familiar face being the main villain and they're bringing back all these old X-Men, Fantastic Four actors, maybe that familiar face is a version of Magneto, because Ian McKellen is coming back as his character, Patrick Stewart also coming back as well. So in the House of M reality, Magneto could just be reigning supreme and protecting his version of Scarlet Witch, which he thinks of as his daughter. They could pay off some Easter eggs about Scarlet Witch being Magneto's daughter. And he's just keeping Deadpool and Wolverine from trying to take down this Scarlet Witch so they can get rid of the House of M reality. There's also been a lot of talk about Elizabeth Olsen coming back as multiple different versions of her Scarlet Witch from different universes. There's supposed to be a version of her during the Agatha Harkness show Coven of Chaos, but I think the one that they might be referencing in the Deadpool 3 movie is a completely different universe version of the character. The clip of her talking about wanting to do more X-Men and mutant-based stories, she's been talking about for a while, but the actual clip itself is literally from this past weekend. Regardless of what's going on in Deadpool 3, I believe that Kevin Feige and Marvel do have plans to explore Scarlet Witch crossing over with X-Men characters during like a mutant saga after Avengers 6 Secret Wars. So like they have more plans for her later on.
Whispering the words, "No more mutants," causing over 90% of mutants to lose their powers. There was a ton of death. Scarlet Witch fled to Wundagore Mountain.
Post all your reactions in the comments below. I'll do more Deadpool 3 videos when we get more footage from the set, or we learn more about what's going on with the cameos, the other X-Men, the Fantastic Four characters that are coming back, or other Fox Marvel people in general, like Ben Affleck's Daredevil. Click here for all my Deadpool 3 videos to learn about all the other big cameos, and click here for all my Secret Invasion videos. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.